Coming to the green flag here for round number 18 of the 2023 FBRL Hardee's National Series season. It's a pair of rookies on the front row. Cam Lessard alongside him, Stuart Gratton. Just a couple races to go left in the season. So we get set for our final road course race of the season as the green flag is in the air. Lessard gets a really good jump, entering turn number 1. Lessard pulls out to the lead. Here's Christian Vargas and Kyle Collins battling for the spot here. Nick Breeding, who qualified in the top 5, he is trying to fight off the 14 of Corey Williams. Hard battle here as Corey dives up the inside. Breen takes a wide line off the corner here onto the banking. Draft is going to be very important here on the straightaways. This team is going to be looking to try and set up some passes into the chicane. A very difficult chicane, mind you. They all hop across relatively fine. Nothing too crazy here as everyone takes it easy here on the opening lap. Lessard looks like he is going to lead the first lap of the day. As Vargas throws it hard into the corner and to escape the 41's grasp. That was a very aggressive dive into the corner, but Cam Lessard that leads lap number 1. Whoa, Corey Williams off in the grass in the 14. The points leader goes off track. He missed the chicane badly, I should say, and he's going to lose several spots here in the 14 car. That's going to put him towards the back end of the top 10. So big mistake from the 14. Corey Williams not known for his road course racing, at least here in the Hardee's National Series, but big mistake there. It's going to cost him some spots as Poti hopped the curb really hard there, and that's just how hard these guys are racing each other. Battle for 9th here between Poteet and Corey Williams. Or excuse me, 8th place, as Poteet trying to contact. Corey had to hop the curb a bit, get into the grass to keep himself in front of the 83 as the two of them made contact in the corner. But here comes Stuart Gratton now with a run on the 84 of Lessard. This is for the lead. Gratton got a good run, and here he comes up the inside. He makes the pass on Lessard to take the lead. Nice piece of work from Gratton there to get the position. Oh, trouble in the mid-pack. Griffin Lapel McDermott and Brandon Beal have racked off the final chicane. We believe the 62 made contact with the 22, but Brandon Beal with heavy front damage. That looks maybe terminal. And Brandon Beal, who has completed every lap this season, that looks like that may be coming to an end here. And we got Prawn Ricky Freeman Jr. and Griffin Lapel McDermott have gone off track. And Griffin across the track, he hits the 22 of Schwallenberg. Griffin Lapel McDermott just slid across the grass and he just clobbered the 22 of Schwallenberg. And Brandon Morris is off track. He's in the tires. Morris to pit lane. Schwallenberg and Griffin Lapel McDermott have pulled off the track, and the 62 has parked it. He is done. But what on earth just happened? We'll get to that in a second as Grattan slides off the track there for a brief moment. Lassard now looking for the lead back. Grattan comes down to block. Lassard, is he looking for a run here on the 16? This is for the lead. Lassard wants the lead back, but can't do it. Grattan gets a better run off the corner, and Grattan leads the lap and holds on to the lead. So let's see what happens in the chicane here. So Griffin laid with McDermott. Oh, he's battling Schwalmerk here for the position. And, ooh, Griffin and Schwalmerk just maybe racing a little bit too hard in the chicane. That sends the 62 off, and Brandon Beal had nowhere to go, and he slammed the heck out of him. So something else happens here to Griffin. So this is in the back of the pack. So this is a massive stack of Griffin goes wide up the track there, and just a big stack up here. And Griffin gets launched across the track into the 22 of Schwallenberg and hits him for a second time. Granted, that one was not his fault, but Blake Warren also with heavy damage. He got crumbled. You can see the remains of what happens here. Warren with heavy damage. Ricky Freeman Jr. goes across the track. I'm not sure that's legal or not, but I think considering what happened, it can be forgiven. But something happens to Morris as well. My goodness. Brandon Morris making a couple of part-time starts for Fitzwater Racing Team. He gets involved in the little skirmish here. It's just a massive stack up. And Morris, what's going to happen to Morris here? Ooh, Morris, he's coming back up to merge back onto the racing surface. Comes across the track and, oh, he overshot the re-entry and just wrecked himself into the tire barrier. That's a bit embarrassing. Ouch. So here's what we have from the remnants of the wreck here. Blake Warren slammed into the 62, had nowhere to go. His one-off start here for Flipside Motorsports will come to a very short and abrupt end. Chase Marks, we were also being told, was involved, so he has some damage as well. Looks like the right side may be having a bit of a problem, so Marks with a tough break there with heavy damage. Look at him, he's just trying to just get this car through. He can't even keep it on the racing surface. It's driving that terribly at the moment. Ricky Freeman Jr., he is surprisingly kind of gotten away with it. What a tough break for those guys, and big accident there. Never seen anything like that. Griffin got launched across the track, and Schwalmberg was just an innocent bystander. And Fisher Motorsports is 22. Their bad luck just continues. It just doesn't matter who they put in the car. Just something just keeps happening. Tyler Commons running in 10th place here, having one of the best runs of his season so far. Unfunny Racing Team, they've actually had a pretty solid weekend, all things considered, with this 44 car. And Commons, who hasn't had a top 10 on pace since Kentucky way earlier in the season. It's just been a really tough year for this 44 team, and just Unfunny Racing Team as a whole. We knew that this year was looking to be a rebuilding year after having to go through an ownership change and having to reshuffle their driver lineup. But I don't think they predicted this amount of struggle. And right now, this 44 is kind of heading towards the owner's points bubble. But right now, Commons in this 44 just trying to keep this position he's got. And you have to wonder if you know, will AFRT, will they keep him for next year? Because it has been a tough year. So this is also Commons maybe thinking, I don't got many chances left. I need to prove something here as the season winds down. And he's holding 10th, and he's holding off a very fast driver in Jeff James here. So this is what happened to Christian Vargas in the previous lap. You may have noticed he fell down the order a little bit. As Vargas, he slid off into the grass from 3rd. Almost as, actually worse than Corey did. And he's going to drop from 3rd all the way down to 7th. So big mistake from Vargas, and that's going to cost him several spots here. That is not what he needed with him trying to beat this 14 on points, or at least make up some of the points gap. Ooh, Gran runs wide in the chicane. Here comes Cameron Lessard with a run. Lessard's been keeping up at the 16, and he's trying to get the lead back, but they've got another problem. Kyle Collins on the 41 is running these two down, and we all know about Kyle Collins on a road course. And he's hounding these two rookies really hard right now as Gran gets through the final chicane cleanly. And Lessard stays in 2nd. They've got a very hungry shark sitting behind them. And they've got Richard Johnson. Gran, look at Gran. He goes to the bottom lane. He's going to run defensive line against the 84. Gran, I think, was concerned about Lessard making a dive, and he went down to be proactive about it, but Lessard did not bite. 0 career wins between these two. Cameron Lessard was a lapped car away from winning an Eagle Point. And Stuart Gran, he has shown some speed on the road courses as well. But for Lessard, the taste of victory was right there. And you know, he wants it in full. So Lessard is hounding the 16 as best he can. Daniel Volas in 65, currently having perhaps the best run of his career up to this point. Currently running in 12th place in his number 65. Some of Voiles' best races when he's qualified for them have been on road courses, and it's showing here. He's keeping up with the 4 of Jeff James. That's no small feat. He's right there in a points position possibly. Kukulon sits behind him. Cody Lamas in the Crossroads racing number 31. This was a race that this team marked on their calendar. Lamas, a Florida native, trying to get this 31 team a really good run here. This is their final start of the season. Things at the lead staying stable here is Lessard. He makes a little bit of a peek down the inside. Gran holds on the top. That may open the door for Collins because he's going to have a bit of a run here. Right now, this top 6 sticking together here for the time being. Top 7, excuse me. Oh, trouble! Joseph Srigley in the 77 has blown up the 77! Right at the pit entrance. Good timing, but oh man, Joseph Srigley with a big problem here. He's got something broke within the engine, maybe a gearbox, and he is done. This 77 team had been struggling all weekend long, and that might have been the reason why. Here comes Goforth up the inside. He sends a lunge up the inside of Eric Rodriguez in the 63. Can he clear him here? Not quite. Goforth and Rodriguez heading towards the fast left-hander. And will any of them bite here? They keep side by side to the corner. Goforth lunges again up the inside. Rodriguez pinches him down on the bottom to try and keep him next to him. Goforth cannot clear. Rodriguez fighting him hard here, very cleanly. And Goforth cannot complete the pass. Rodriguez holds him off. There's James Schill in the 81 behind, sitting in 17th. It has not been very easy to pass here, that is for certain. Teams have had to make some very aggressive moves to make some passes. There's, Lassard. That's an interesting line. Collins, though, takes a very aggressive chicane there. And now he's got to run the 84 if he can make something with it. Should mention, by the way, this is going to be a 2-stop race. So we are expecting teams to pit within the next 3 laps, over the course of the next 3 laps. So Collins now hounding the 84 of Lassard. Pit stops begin, and they start at the back of the field as 2 of the Shade Bianco racing cars come to pit road. James Ellison, Ryan Butcher, who are having a very difficult day today. All of these Shade Bianco racing cars have been running outside the top 25. Well, outside the top 20, I should say. So they've been struggling, so I think they're undercutting here to try and get some track position, if possible. So Ellison comes out, Butcher comes out as well. This top 3 sticking together here, but I think they're being called to pit road. Grattan comes to pit road. Collins, Lassard also come to pit road. As Lassard and Collins make contact on the pit road entry. Collins ran a little bit wide and Lassard hit him. Got a couple guys staying out here. Nick Breeding and Noah Hartz, the 2 Rodriguez Racing guys. They're going to stick out here and run a bit long. Cody Lobson, 31, going to follow as well. Hernandez as well. But this is for what should be for the lead. As we follow what's going to happen here on pit road. Lassard, Grattan. Lassard jumps out in front of Grattan, and he comes back out in front of the 16. So a great stop for Lassard to get him the lead back as him and Grattan. They're getting feisty off the pit exit as Grattan shoves Lassard into the wall. Grattan and Lassard got together on the pit exit, and Grattan, from that angle, looks like Grattan just shoved him into the pit wall on the exit. And Grattan's going to get the effective lead back. But what has that done to Lassard's 84? Oh boy, Lassard is not going to be happy about this one here. Oh, we got some dirt kicked up over there in turn 1. I'll have to check that out. But Lassard and the 84, that was significant. That was a pretty decent hit into the wall. How is that going to affect the 84? I can't imagine that's going to help. So far, he seems okay. Although it looks like he may be losing some time on the straightaway here, as he wasn't drafting up to Grattan very well. Let's watch this again here. Lassard jumps out in front of the 16, perhaps to block the 16 from getting alongside him, and then Grattan, Lassard, yeah, they just get together, and Lassard just goes into the wall, and that pit stop from the 84 team, looks like it was all for naught. We're being told that there was an issue with Gallon Downey. This might have been for the dirt we saw kicked up as him and DeMax. Downey and DeMax. Oh boy. Oh, this doesn't look. Oh, this looks like DeMax is just mad with Downey and just hooks him into the wall. Or I think it's hard to tell here. Ooze as Kev Shear. Oh, that was from the grass as him and Bouchard. Oh no, Ryan Reed went off track. Oh, and he almost... Jesus. Okay, Reed, that was late. He might have just been... I mean, I guess that was to try and avoid a black flag, but what the heck happened there? So something's going to happen to Ryan Reed here. Him and Bishop, they're racing each other hard off pit road. They're just slamming each other, and Bishop just hooks him off the track. And Reed makes a late dive back into the pit exit and hits the wall, so that's going to be some damage, and Reed does a little bit of drifting. We're approaching the halfway point here, and Lessard in the 84. Oh yeah, you can see there is something wrong with the 84. That car just does not have good straightaway speed, because here comes Collins up the inside. This should be for second place. Collins dives into the chicane, rammed the heck out of the curb, and that's going to get him second place. But talk about putting trust in your car's reliability. Good Lord. And Lessard, he's dropped to third, and he's going to lose third to Richard Johnson, so Lessard falls to fourth here, and there is definitely damage on this 84, and it is hurting this car. Here's Corey Williams and Noah Hart going at it here, as Corey made a good lunge up the inside of the 18. Noah Hart just came off at pit road, so he's got cold tires. Nick Breeding, by the way, has still not pitted. Corey clears the 18 to take the position. There's Breeding in the 9. This is very aggressive by Breeding. Looks like they're going to, I think they want the freshest tires possible for Nick Breeding so that he can basically try and make up a ton of time. But he's also risking losing even more time by staying out like this. So I would expect Gran to retake the lead here once he comes to pit road. But this is going to be a tough test for Gran here, because he's got Kyle Collins right there behind him, and he is a tough cookie to beat as Vargas goes off track again the second time. Vargas has gone off in the chicane, and there goes the points leader Corey Williams by him, and Corey is going to move ahead, and that was a costly mistake by Vargas. Vargas just overdriving the corner there, trying to stay in front of this 14. And that is not going to help him. There's Breeding in pit lane. He has not even... They're just now putting the left side tires on, so he's about to lose some time. Here's Breeding off the pit lane here. Gonna have very fresh tires, but look at the time lost here for the 9. He's gonna have to have a really good outlap here, because he is in danger of falling outside the top 10, and he drifts off the pit exit. That's also not going to help. Here's Chase Marks in the 90. Remember, he got involved in that wreck, and he is way off the pace. This 90 is struggling on the straightaways here. You can see Marks is just having a tough old time here, as Bobby Jones now struggles to get by him. He's now going to back up to the 75. And Michaels sticking behind the 90 here, as this is going to cost him some time. Ooh, Marks, Michaels is getting frustrated here. Michaels runs across the curbing, and that didn't look very good. And Michaels now still trying to find a way past the 90 here. He's backing them up here. This is causing a stack up in turn 1. As, whoa, Hernandez makes a dive up the inside with Pote, and Michaels has been sent it to Marks. Oh boy, that was not what Michaels needed, and hard into the wall in the 90 as if it needed any more damage. But now Michaels with heavy damage on the 75. On the right side, he got punted by Hernandez, it looked like. Let's watch this again here. Michaels gets a really bad run off the corner, and Marks just, Marks is just holding him up, and that causes a stack up here. You can see Lamas tries to go high. Hernandez cuts down. Pote looks for 3 wide, and then Michaels tries to come down to pass the 90 and kind of try to force the issue, even though Hernandez was there. And Little Falls Motorsports and Sarah's Performance Autosport, these are two teams battling to stay inside the top 30 Norris points. And that is going to be a very interesting discussion between those two teams because, while I don't think Mark's really meant to do that on purpose, you have to admit that kind of helps the 87 and the 81. Grant's got company. Here comes Kyle Collins in the 41. This is for the lead. Kyle Collins scored his first win of the season back at Wisconsin a couple of weeks ago. And he's looking for number 2. And to add another road course to his resume of road courses he has won at here, as we are just past halfway. And Grant's going to have one heck of a challenge here. Richard Johnson sits back in 3rd. He's having a really strong run today in this 10 car. He's worked his way up to 3rd. And he's doing his best to keep up with those two. Lassard, he has lost pace ever since that damage off the pit exit. So this 84 could be in some trouble. Which is unfortunate for Lassard. He has such a strong start to the day. Corey Williams, your points leader, up in 5th place. Again, he's not exactly known for his road course acumen, but he's done a really solid job today. And he's running in 5th here, just keeping the car on track after that first blunder. Speaking of blunders, Vargas has had 2 of them, and now he's going to have to try and make up for it. It's going to be very vital for him to get past this 14. Noah Hart in the 18, up to 7th place. Tyler Commons in 8th place with a really strong run, just holding firm in the position he's at. Jeff James in 9th, hoping for better at this point, but after what happened to Wisconsin, I think he just wants a clean road course race for once. And Rodriguez holds 10th to occupy the final spot in the top 10. Here's Craig Popcrass in number 43, trying for Lassard Enterprises. And probably one of the big storylines of the weekend as Lassard Enterprises. This is a full-time team. And for the first time all year long, they finally got into a race. They had to use a Provo. And a lot of guys had to run out of Provos before them to get up to this point. But Popcrass in the 43 for Lassard Enterprises making their debut after 18 attempts. Trying to close out the season with a couple of starts here. So far, Popcrass is just keeping the car clean and just doing his best to keep up with a damaged Ryan Reed. Now for 4th here, the wounded Lassard trying to hold off the 14 Corey Williams as here he comes up the inside. Vargas falls in as well. Vargas! Oh boy, and Lassard. Oh, Lassard had to drive very aggressively through the chicane to defend the position from the 14. Corey wisely backed out of it, knew that was not a good idea to force the issue. But you can see Lassard, he is struggling in the oval parts of the track here as we got a stack up here as Hart slides up the inside and shoves the 51 up the track. And he forces his way past Vargas as the 14 gets around the chicane. That was very aggressive by Noah Hart, and granted, after what happened at Eagle Point, I don't think the 18 is very afraid to hit some bumpers if need be. But that shoves Vargas outside of position here as he's now trying to get past Lassard. Lassard he's just dead to rights at the moment as Tyler Commons may be looking for 3. May want to back out of that one. He does. Vargas powers off the corner, needs to clear this 84, and he does it. Very hectic battle that just occurred there. Lassard is fighting for his life at this point. He's going to fall outside the top 10 at the rate this is going. And you can see the stack up it's causing here. Ooh, Jeff James slides way off track there. Rodriguez takes advantage of it. This is for 9th. With how difficult it has been to pass on certain parts of the racetrack here, you got to take whatever positions you can get. Rodriguez, Jeff James, drag racing down the back straightaway. The Ford looks a little bit stronger on the straightaways, and Jeff holds on. And speaking of holding on, Grattan, man, he is putting on a heck of an effort right now trying to hold off this 41, and he's doing such a good job. He's backed the 41 up, back down to the 10 car. So Richard Johnson has now joined this battle for the lead with 10 laps to go. Corey Williams now up to 4th place. And a lot of people are finding it hard to believe that this 14 isn't going to win the championship this year, and it's performances like this, they're showcasing why. Collins is, he's being patient with Grattan. There's still one last pit stop to go through, so you have to imagine that this 41 team, perhaps there's a feeling of maybe we don't need to force the issue now. But Collins is just making sure he keeps up with the 16. I think he is faster than Grattan by a little bit, but Grattan's just running nice, clean, consistent laps, which is all you can ask for from a rookie, really. Final stops of the day have begun as Joshua Michaels, remember, he's got damage. He's coming to pit road early. Galen Downey also comes to pit road. He also may have some damage as well. So a couple of guys with slightly wounded cars, I think they are coming here to try and undercut. Because I think what they're doing here is they're going to fix the damage and then try to make up the time lost on pit road by putting tires on early. And you can see Michaels, they're going to work on the 75. Downey, not as much work needed as the Downey only took maybe a slight spin and maybe just barely brushed the wall at worst. But Michaels, yeah, this is extensive work being done to the 75. This is going to cost him some time. And now he's going to have to try and run some hard laps, or at least as hard as that 75 can go. Ooh, Grattan slid wide again. Here comes Collins on the 41 now with some momentum here. This is for the lead. Here comes Collins. He's got a run on the 16. Is he going to take it up the inside? He does. Collins dives down the inside, looking to make the pass in the chicane, similar to what Grattan did. Collins makes a dive to pass, but he comes to pit road. Collins dives to pit road. Grattan stays out, and Collins, I wonder, was that a move to not just cost the 16 time? Was that to try and make sure Grattan didn't come to pit road, because he's now forcing Grattan to run an extra lap, so Collins is going to be able to possibly undercut him here. I'm not sure how to feel about that one, but if that was the intent, from a strategic standpoint, genius. Is it kind of mean? A little bit. Nick Breeding, remember, he stayed out longer than the rest of the field, so he has the freshest tires of those who have not pitted yet, but unfortunately for Breeding, while he's sitting in 7th, he was outside the top 10 before pit stop started. So unfortunately for Breeding, he was actually running laps that were over a second quicker than the leader, but with just how difficult it has been to pass, the fresh tires aren't as effective as perhaps they could be. There's just not a lot of places to pass, and Breeding just unfortunately just couldn't make it work. But I wonder if they're just going to commit to it at this point. Here comes Grattan now. This is going to be interesting here because remember, Grattan lost the lead to Lassard at the last pit cycle. So the 16 team, they're not putting together the fastest stops right now, but Grattan stays out. Grattan's going to go an extra lap here. As does the 14, as does the 18. So a couple of guys, they're going to choose to run long. But Grattan, he's risking, he's going to lose the lead. That's a given. There's no way he's going to come back out with the lead by staying out like this, but I think what they're banking on is Grattan's fresher tires should be enough to perhaps beat Collins, but at the same time, the time lost, I'm just not sure about this. Granted, I mean, Collins kind of forced them into this position. Off of pit road here, Kev Shear and Cam Lassard get together, and Lassard, oh boy, he's gonna force the zero off the track and off into the, oh boy, that might be a penalty. Shear gets forced off of the pit road exit. They tried to go too wide through it. Lassard would not let him in. Shear also, I think, was trying to force the issue. And Shear, he comes out in front of the 84, but that might be a penalty. I can't imagine the officials are going to be too happy because, I mean, Shear just, I mean, he was forced off, but he also gained an advantage here. Ooh, the officials have to make a very interesting call here because will they throw the black flag at Shear for something like that? That's hard to say. Kev Shear looks like he's coming to pit road. They are black flagging the zero for improper pit lane exit. So Shear is coming to pit road, and he is going to lose a lot of positions here as he has to make a stop and go penalty. They release Shear, but a costly moment on the pit exit is going to cost the zero team several positions here, and it's going to knock him all the way outside the top 30. And back behind Craig Popcrass in the 43. Here comes Stuart Grand to pit road. Final stop of the day for the leader. Grant has led the most laps today, but he is going to be in some danger. There's Nick Breeding. He's going to stay out in the 9 car. He's going to commit to the run long strategy. Luis Hernandez in the 00 also stays out here, but this is potentially for the win. Gonna need to put a nice stop for the 16 team here. Looking for Collins. There's Collins in the 41. They're still putting the right sides on. Collins, yep, I mean, we are pretty confident he's going to get the lead, but Grattan, he is going to lose it for sure, and Collins does take the lead. And Richard Johnson moves to second, so Grattan will fall to third by staying out long. There's Vargas in the 51. He should beat the 51 out at least, but Grattan, he will lose the lead, and that is a very significant gap with 7 laps to go. They're going to have to trust Grattan to try and make up the time. But this is going to be a very tough ask. I think this is at least around 8 seconds that Grattan has lost to the 41. And he's still got to get the tires warmed up. You can see Vargas is quicker as his tires are heated up. And Chase Marks, he's off the pace, and it's causing a massive stack up here as, oh boy, Common's trying to find a way through. And Corey Williams, he actually lost some time here because he pitted a little bit late, just like Grattan did. So he's fallen outside the top 5, it looks like here. And Marks, he's holding up 2 lanes here. The man's got to pick one. Here comes Jeff James and Hardee up the inside. Jeff James trying to go past his teammate in the 14. Jeff tries to clear the 90, goes a little off, makes it work. But look at the stack up that's being caused by Marks here. Rodriguez goes to the top. And Corey, he huddles in behind the 90. He wants the inside lane. Entering the corner here. He does not want someone to take advantage. Ooh, Corey, he goes up the inside of the chicane. Marks doesn't let him go by. Marks keeps fighting. Marks comes to pit road. And he just costed these guys a ton of time by doing that. There's Breeding, and he may have just caught a break because that cost several of these guys some time. And now Breeding's going to have some fresh tires to work with here, and he's going to maybe be able to make up some of the positions lost. Here comes the 9 off of pit road. He merges in front of the 18 of Noah Hart. Hart with the warmer tires, though, does clear him. But a costly a scuffle with Chase Marks has now cost the points leader of Corey Williams several positions and a ton of time, because now Vargas has gone back in front of him here. Here's Eric DeMax. This has been a surprisingly difficult day for a lot of the Sony Cup drivers who came here today in one of their limited part-time starts. We saw Dylan Schwallenberg get involved in a wreck and taken out. Joseph Strigley had a mechanical failure in the 77, and Eric DeMax, Cody Lamas, they're struggling back here in the mid-pack. DeMax is a bit of a surprise, but he has not really been able to really make up places from where he started. So I think Monster Energy Racing really missed on the setup here today. Cody Lamas in the 31, he's been kind of just slowly falling through the field as the Crossroads car is it's not the most amazing car in the field, and Lamas is not always well, Lamas did win in the Sony Cup Series back at the Netherlands, so you have to imagine that they were hoping for maybe a little bit more. But this has been a really tough day for Sony Cup drivers. And speaking of this, we haven't really had much chance to talk about this today, but here's Jesse Turner in the 97, replacing Lane Sanders, who had elected to end his Cup Series season, as Hardee's National Series season early, as James Ellison, I think, just went off in the grass. But Jesse Turner in the 97, he's going to be making a few starts in this 97 car over these next couple of races. But Lane Sanders has elected to leave the Hardee's National Series full-time to help his family's Cup team. And right now, Turner is going to be looking at trying to figure out who they're going to put in this 97 in the long term, because Turner can't drive this car for the rest of the season, for the entirety of it, so they're going to have to find somebody. So a very good ride is actually going to be open here to end the season, so I'm really curious to see what Turner will do. Will they put an unknown in the car, or maybe find a veteran of sorts? Here's Nick Breeding now. You can see he's trying to get those fresh tires working in the 9. I think it's starting to come to him a little bit. They must have made a really good adjustment on pit road, because he's now starting to make up some places here. And suddenly, out of nowhere, James Shelley is 5th. Shelley had been running outside the top 10 for most of today, but he has now picked up the pace. He's up to 5th now all of a sudden. So Shelley, in this 81 car, they have found some pace. And he's pulling away. Sanders Performance Autosport. This is looking to be perhaps one of their best ever finishes here, if Shelley can hold 5th. But what a sudden come-alive moment. We talk about Sony Cup Series drivers struggling. That's not the case for Shelley. And this is big for the 81's owners points, by the way, because Michaels is now down back in the order, so this should help the 81 get out of the bubble, pending nothing goes wrong, because you never know. But James Shelley with a great day here in this 81, and it just feels like they came out of nowhere. Breeding now passing the 14. This is vital for his championship aspirations, what little aspirations he's got left, because good lord, this last month has been tough. But Breeding, he is really cooking right now. He is hot lapping the heck out of this 9, and why not? You got to. With those fresh tires, he's got all the advantages in the world, and he needs to beat this 14 very handedly. This has been a good day for Christian Vargas. Despite the 2 mistakes made, they've had a good day on pit road, and Vargas is keeping himself in 4th, and he will gain positions on the 14 in the championship standings. It won't be a massive game, but at this point, you got to take what you can get. Big battle for 7th here. Breeding is shoving the 63 through the chicane, and oh boy, Breeding tries to go to the outside, trying to get the run to 63. But Rodriguez, he's going to have Jeff James's draft. And Corey Williams now, he's going to take advantage of the draft as well. He's going to follow in behind the 63. Here comes Corey up the inside. And Corey hits the chicane. He's going to get next to the 9. They make some slight contact in the corner. And Corey now looking for the spot back from the 9. Breeding though with the fresher tires. Corey does have tires that are only slightly older than Breeding, so he should be able to at least put up a decent fight, and he does. But that's going to be really frustrating for Breeding. That was not what he wanted. He had some momentum there, and now the draft kind of cut him off. 2 laps to go here at the Daytona Road Course. And Kyle Collins, as you can see, a 6.7 second lead over Richard Johnson. The decision to pit first before the 16 worked out, and he is off to the races with clean air. Richard Johnson in second place with a really great day, but Stuart Gratton, he's running over 2 seconds quicker than Richard Johnson, so he's running this 10 car down, but it's going to be too little too late to even have a sniff at Collins. But that's the battle there as Breeding and Rodriguez get together. Oof. Oh boy, this is getting tight. Breeding has to be feeling a sense of desperation. But the white flag is in the air for Kyle Collins in the 41 for Curtis Racing, and what's looking to be another standard Collins road course performance here. And this is the battle though on track as Corey goes past the 4 of Jeff James. What a power move from the 14, and he passed the 63 and the 4 in 1 lap here. And here comes Breen out the inside. Jeff James, oh, they get together. Jeff James and Breen get together into the pit wall. Big hit for the 9 and the 4 on the last lap. Massive wreck into the barrels, and they're both stuck in the wall. 7th and 8th have just wrecked here on the final lap. Are you kidding me? Massive controversy here on the white flag. The battle between the 4 and the 9. Breeding tries to cut low. Jeff James comes down to block, and they get together and they go hard into the pit divider. And that just crunched the 9 and the 4, and they're stuck. And that is going to be the end of their day, and they do not get to cross the checkered flag. Another costly DNF for the 4 and the 9. Jeff James, remember what happened in Wisconsin? Oh my goodness. I got no idea what to say about what just happened there between James and Breeding. That was a hard hit. They're stuck in the barrels and stuck in the wall, so they're not going to be able to finish the race. And that's going to shuffle the top 10 a bit. But Kyle Collins in the 41, this is him right now. Stuart Gratton trying to catch Richard Johnson, but I'm not sure he's going to get there. But Kyle Collins here, he's just got to get through one final chicane, and he's going to have yet another victory on the year, and it will be yet another victory for Curtis Racing here in 2023. Through the final chicane, just got to get through it cleanly. Off the final corner, Kyle Collins is going to win yet again here on a road course. He takes the checker flag here at the Daytona road course. As the battle for the second place spot gets a little heated as Gratton tries to make a run at the 10, but it's not going to be enough. Richard Johnson finishes second for one of his best finishes on the year. Gratton comes across third after leading the most laps today. Gotta be very disappointed in that camp, but still a best career finish, one of the best career finishes for Gratton this year. Christian Vargas finishes a crucial fourth here as he will gain a couple of points on the 14 of Corey Williams. James Shelley comes home with Spa's best finish on the year, 5th. With James Shelley at the helm, a great, quiet run for this team, and they suddenly came alive today. Corey Williams finishes 6th, did a great job recovering positions. Eric Rodriguez comes across for 7th, one of his best road course performances on the year. Noah Hart comes across 8th. Tyler Commons, thanks to the wreck, has finished inside the top 10. So with Breeding and Jeff James knocked out, that put the 44 back in the top 10, and Daniel Voiles in the 65 scores his first career top 10 in the Hardee's National Series, and Galley and Down Incorporated in their second part-time car have scored a top 10. A controversial ending, but it's Kyle Collins who comes away with perhaps the predictable result.